AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, where we are the voice of the people. Get ready for Let's Talk About Health with your hosts, Dr. Amanda Flowers, Dr. Victor McKoy, and Dr. Mark White, where your health is your wealth. On AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, where we are the voice of the people.
Good morning, Columbus. Thank you for tuning into AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, the voice of the people. Welcome to Let's Talk About Health. I'm Dr. Amanda Flowers in the studio today with Dr. Mark White and Dr. Victor McKoy, and we have a great show lined up this morning. We are honoring several celebrations this morning. Today is our radiothon, and we have a lot of exciting events going on here at the station, so please stop by 3360 East Livingston Avenue, Suite 2A, and show your support by giving a donation. Today is also the Purple and Pink Walk for Life and Family Fun Fest, so stop by the Truth Church at 1500 Barnett Road to participate in their festivities in honor of breast cancer awareness. Finally, our doctors are eager to talk to you about detoxification through exercise, body image, female athletes, and breast cancer. And we have a special guest to help us talk about it all. We want to welcome Miss Elise Berry to Let's Talk About Health. As a student at St. Francis de Sales High School, Miss Berry played basketball, ran track, and played soccer, winning state soccer championships as a sophomore and senior, and was named the Ohio Player of the Year as a junior. Miss Berry graduated from Purdue University, where she started every soccer game of her college career that she was able to play in. She was named Academic All-American, became Purdue's first team All-Big Ten for women's soccer, won the Arthur Ashe Award, and was on the Big Ten Legislative Committee. In 2004, Miss Berry became a certified strength and conditioning coach and opened Hotbox Fitness Gym in 2011. And so, listeners, do you have a question for us this morning? Give us a call at 614-824-2139 or 824-2336. Now, doctors and Miss Berry, toxins are everywhere, from cooking pots to chemicals sprayed on lawns for problematic weeds. Your body accumulates these substances which can make you ill. Detoxification is the cleansing of the internal organs of the body from environmental pollutants, food waste, poisons, harmful bacteria, and other substances such as alcohol, medications, and parasites. The human body is designed to move and get rid of waste, and the organs of detoxification include the colon, liver, lungs, kidneys, skin, and lip glands. A sedentary body does not function as well as an active one, and this applies to the detoxification system of the body as well. So can you tell us what specific exercise routines are best to facilitate detoxification?
Drinking a lot of water, eating fruits and vegetables, getting enough rest, making sure that your elimination is on a regular cycle. Those are some natural things that we do. I think that one thing that I always go back to is that we need to make sure that we're in sync with ourselves as far as self-care goes. And if we're eating 3 meals a day and they're healthy meals, and I think that while we won't go into detail about what a healthy meal is, I think for the most part, people know that fast food eating and sugar is a toxic substance, and those kinds of things are unhealthy. So if we're eating 3 meals and drinking a lot of water and exercising, I think we're going to be our bodies are going to be in a healthy.
So what specific exercise routines do we have that are best for detoxification? That's what our listeners are excited to hear about, because we've talked about some of the nutrition, but I know some people are eagerly awaiting to hear what exercise routines we can do for detoxification.
One of the things that when Dr. Catapati was on probably about a year and a half ago, one of the things he talked about, the 2 best exercises, he said swimming, which Dr. Mark does a lot of, and bicycling. And we talked about walking, but the type of walking that most of us do really does not do enough to kind of detox. You know, it really doesn't. You know, most people are walking, but they're not doing, let's say, the power type walking, or walking maybe long enough to fully detox. I wanted to say, as Dr. Mark took my line, sugar is a toxic substance, and going raw. One of the things that helps us is going raw and eliminating. But the exercise program, as you brought up the question, Dr. Flowers, I love bicycle. I just recently did this. My bike was down. I have 3 different bicycles in my life, and my main bike was down. And one of the things that I did was got the bike repaired, and I did the bike riding, and it's a phenomenal exercise. One of the things that I love about bicycle, it's really low impact on the joints. I've heard of one of my patients recently told me that he has. I told him to buy a recombinant bike, and he bought one, and he found out that if you don't have it set just right, that can be a lot of stress on your hip. And when we engage in any exercise routine, one of the things we don't want to do is overdo it first, because now we have to deal with joint issues and those types of issues. So we want to detox by raising our exercise level.
Yes.
I was going to say, to piggyback on that anything that kind of makes you uncomfortable when you're moving, that it produces sweat if that's uncomfortable, or you shouldn't be able to carry on a conversation. It should be hard to talk, or you don't want to talk, that your heart rate is up that much. And also things that we call them functional movement exercises. So things that you do on an everyday basis. That's how a lot of people get injured, and then injuries keep a lot of people, from doing exercise. From doing exercise. So injuries, at Hotbox, we really try to prevent injuries, and that comes from functional movement training. So whether you hurt your back getting in and out of a chair, whether you dropped your keys and went to pick them up, whether you stepped out, on a curb and you twisted your ankle or slipped on the ice, those functional movement exercises prevent those things from happening. So whether it's a squat, a push-up, walking, a lunge, those are everyday exercises that you should be able to complete pain-free. And stretching is also important.
And also, I would add, it was mentioned that the skin is the largest organ, and so I think that with exercise, when you break a sweat, and I would say that what we talked about last week was we've got to take baby steps. Start where you are. Don't go out and after the show try to run 5 miles and then end up in the emergency room. Start where you are. If it's just walking, but break a sweat. Your goal should be to break a sweat, because when you break a sweat, you're releasing toxins, salt, and also you're getting a mechanical additive of things are moving around, and waste is eliminated by moving. You're up and down mechanically. So exercising to the point of breaking a sweat, there's actually 2 benefits to that. The toxins are released to the sweat, salt, and other toxins, and also you're moving the things through the colon and out. And so that's something that I think is really important.
Yes, and Ms. Bear, you were going to say something else?
Yes, and again, it is important to start where you're at, whether that's, and I always like to say it can be as little as doing, 10 push-ups every time you go to the bathroom during a day. Like, it has to be to start from anywhere, and whether that's scratch, and I've been there many a time starting from scratch, and it's very hard to start from scratch. So what I always try to tell people is stay consistent, that if you make a goal to exercise 3 times a week, that's great. Or you could just say, I'm going to exercise 1 day a week, which is extremely better than nothing. So I encourage people, to set aside, even if it's a half an hour to 45 minutes a week, that you commit to that, and that will help you, live a long, healthy life.
And there are a couple other things that we can do. I thought was interesting as I've looked into this is deep breathing exercises help, because we can pull so many toxins into our lungs. Just even simply deep breathing can help, stimulate your system and remove some toxins from your body. And then rotating hot and cold showers helps with your circulation and flushes out, toxins to improve your immunity. So sometimes when we think about exercise, we think of the real vigorous types of exercises, and those are good if you can do them. But for the people who, a lot of this is really complicated for you, there are some smaller things that you can do that will help, remove some of these toxins from your body as well. And listeners, even getting your body up and moving at all, as we heard, helps remove toxins. So why don't you walk down here to our radiothon at 3360 East Livingston Avenue, Suite 2A, and show your support for giving a donation. Doctors, you have any words of encouragement for giving a donation this morning, coming to our radiothon?
I'll be the first one to give a donation. I'll give one right now.
Bless your heart, yes, Dr. McKoy.
Right.
All right.
And I think that this is probably one of the most important radio programs I know. Because we're giving out information about our health, and our health is our wealth. Without your health, when your health goes down, Dr. McKoy just gave a.
Yes, he did. Dr. McKoy, do you mind if we share?
You don't have to share.
Okay.
Right. But it was big. But
give what you can give.
Yes.
But I think that we just have to keep. And one of the things when you were talking about stress, couple of things: deep breathing, pausing. We'll never be able to stop stress coming into our lives, but we can change the way we respond to it. And so, under stressful situations, stopping, taking a couple deep breaths, or however many you can do, count them. There's a couple of things. It settles you down mentally, so you can move on. And then also it does something to physically. It helps your body as well.
I like what Dr. Mark said. And one of the things, and I'm glad you brought up the deep breathing. It blows off CO2 and helps your body oxygenate itself. And that's part of life. Sometimes you can just, a number of years ago when I couldn't move physically, that's one of the things that I did was deep breathe. And I got in the shower. I don't know about the cold shower that you mentioned earlier as far as circulation. Personally, because I would never hardly ever do that. But the hot shower and the very hot, long baths really helped me to detox when I was sick a number of years ago.
And what I read was the rotating that, like when you're in
I
the
know
same
it's
shower.
right. I know it's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not getting in a cold shower.
I heard that. Well, a lot of times we think of specific diets for detoxification, as we've talked about. But as you've heard, that just being active facilitates detoxification. Any form of exercise helps to remove toxins as it increases oxygen to the cells and stimulates better circulation. But there are certain practices that we are even more beneficial to use, that are more beneficial for us to use to remove waste. Although the body has many mechanisms by which it detoxifies itself, using a variety of approaches helps us to aid the liver and quicken the process, and certain types really shine in this department. Miss Berry, would you explain some of the tools that your fitness gym, Elise Berry's Hot Box Fitness Gym, uses to remove toxins from the body through exercise?
Through my athletic career and growing up, I came to find out that the heat, and when even now during the summer, that you feel more active when it's warm outside and when it's sunny outside, and so I came to realize that possibly exercising in the heat, you might feel a little bit better, not necessarily uncomfortable, which most people would think, oh, I can't be in a 100-degree room because I would sweat and my hair and all the excuses in the world, not to try it. But it really, the heat, and we use a special kind of heat called infrared heat, facilitates movement. It penetrates your muscles that a squat in your office or in a normal temperature gym may hurt. In the heat, you actually feel 100% better. That maybe some movements you're able to perform in the heat, whereas others you can't. And I would still compare it to how you feel in the summer here in Columbus, Ohio, versus how you feel in the winter here in Columbus, Ohio. So,
and also from talking to one of your trainers, Scott Hardiman, he had told me that what the whole purpose of your exercises is to realign the whole body with a core workout, and you don't use any machines. You do this all naturally.
Yes, your body is the machine, is what we want to say. again, we call it functional movement, that things you would do in your everyday life. So we mimic things, such as squats. We do balance, things that won't let you get injured and keep you out the game, so to speak.
Well, listeners, do you have a question about detoxing through exercise? Give us a call at 614-824-2139 or 824-2336. We are here to help you reach the next level today. And you're listening to Let's Talk About Health on AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, the voice of the people. Join our show right after this break.
Where my Eden citizens at? Where my Eden citizens at? Where you at? Let me see you do your hands like this.
The Flowers in the studio today with Dr. Mark White, Dr. Victor McKoy, and Miss Elise Berry, discussing detoxification through exercise, body image, female athletes, and breast cancer. Give us a call with your questions at 614-824-2139 or 824-2336. Remember, we are celebrating our radiothon this morning, so stop by our station here at 3360 East Livingston Avenue, Suite 2A, and provide us with a donation so we can keep this radio station alive. Well, listeners, 1 in 8 women will develop invasive breast cancer in their lifetime. Nearly 40,000 women lose their lives to this each year. And there are many measures that we can take which will help us decrease our risk of breast cancer. It's important to realize that research shows less than 10% of all breast cancer cases can be related to genetic factors only, but there's a remaining 90% that appear to also be triggered by some environmental factors. And sometimes just changing a little bit of what we do and taking a personal inventory of your household and your care products will help you remove some of these toxins that undoubtedly play a major role in the development of cancer. And we're starting to really shed some light on this. So in honor of the Purple and Pink Walk for Life that's going on right now at the Truth Church at 1500 Barnett Road, doctors and Ms. Berry, can you tell me, does detoxification aid in the prevention of breast cancer and assist people who have gone into remission to stay in remission?
Yes. When you have cancer, your body is producing a lot of free radicals that you need to eliminate from the body. Things like sweat, again, can release those free radicals and also, rejuvenate and regenerate your cells at a cellular level. So when you're sweating, it's also regenerating new good cells to help you fight that cancer.
Wonderful.
And also, I think when we talk about detoxing, we know that water is a basic. Our bodies are 60% water. So, and every single cell in the body needs that fluid, and so getting enough water in, which is a form of detox, is going to make your body, the physiology or your body, work better under those kind of dire circumstances.
Yes, it helps with the membranes and the transfer of oxygen, transference of glucose across the cells. As you know, many cancer cells can produce their own fructose, and that's a different type of sugar, not quite a fully simple sugar, but that it can use for energy and metabolizing. And once you, let's say, activate your DNA by exercising and detoxing, you can kind of eliminate what cancer cells can do. One of the things I wanted to say on that level was the antibiotics. There was I was listening to a group of doctors talk recently, and they were talking about, we really don't know what we've lost in terms of the total microbial protection because of antibiotics. And these things have a function, may have a function with cancer, may have a function with the obesity situation, and also the autism that we see in many children that are being birthed. So, just trying to get the body back to what God wanted. We've lost a lot. Technology has helped us, but in some ways it has hurt us also.
I would also say, eat God's food. Do your research. Traditional medicine websites are very negative and grim, so to speak, and that can weigh on your spirit. Research things like a plant-strong diet, eat to live, and that instead of necessarily taking the drugs that maybe the doctor gives you, find natural sources of food that really feed your body. We don't know what goes into an apple. We don't know every single element and the chemical interactions that go into, the apple that God gave us. So if you eat that apple, it does start to, at a cellular level, rejuvenate those cells and regenerate good cells. It's not feeding on, the McDonald's and the sugars. It's not replicating bad cells when you eat
wonderful.
Good food.
Well, we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on the air. Do you have a question for us this morning?
Good morning, Super Doctors.
Good.
Lady Jawanda Thomas from Purple and Pink.
Good morning, Lady Thomas. How
How
is
are
it?
you?
Great. How is it going at the Purple and Pink Walk for Life and Family Fun Fest?
It is going fantastic. I can actually talk. I'm done walking. I have my breath back.
All right.
We have lots of people here. Everyone's acting shy, but they're excited the fact that you all are missing Purple and Pink and supporting us. And
wonderful.
And we realize the importance of walking and how it releases Miss. Did I pronounce her name correctly? Elsie?
Elise.
Elise, I'm sorry. Elise, that we all did a whole lot of walking today. So prayerfully, we've released some toxins from our bodies.
That's wonderful. That's great.
And we realize that early detection of cancer and any type of diseases is so important. We have the prostate cancer table, Columbus Cancer Clinic here. We have Ohio State. We have Nationwide Children's Hospital. We have horses and ponies and food and fun. So we just thank you so much for your support of Purple and Pink. I love you, Super Doctors.
We love
We
you
love
too.
you too. Thanks.
Did any of you have questions for us this morning?
There's a whole lot of people here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going over to Ms. Barbara Beckwith, who's representing Ohio State University. And Ms. Barbara, do you have a question for the Super Doctors on cancer? Here she is.
Could you share any information to me on with triple negative breast cancer and their survival rate?
Triple negative breast cancer, doctors, and the survival rate.
No, I can't. I don't. We'll get back with you. We'll check that out, and on our next show, we'll have an answer for that.
Thank you, and I think that's a show within itself, doctors.
All right,
there we go.
okay.
We may have to do that. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know much about that? Do you do something with that at Ohio State?
Well, she's at the table at this point. Hold on one second.
Okay.
How are you this morning?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I just know that triple negative is affecting many of our African American people, and that they have a lower survival rate because it tends to always return before that 5-year what they say the 5-year clearance time.
Okay. Thank you so much. We will come in to next week's show. We have a great show lined up next week as well, but we will address that specific question before we go into our topic for next week.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. You want Jawanda?
Does she have anything else she wants to say to us?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. And thank you.
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Super Doctors and Elise. I really appreciate you all.
Very
Thank
welcome.
you. You guys have fun.
We are. Thank you again. God
Thank-
bless. Oh, and Super Doctors, did Pastor Lamar Scale give you your gift from Purple and Pink?
Yes, he did. I'm wearing on my wrist right
Absolutely,
now. I got it on my
absolutely.
left wrist right now, along with my
Thank
Apple
you.
Watch.
I didn't want you all to get mad at me because Dr. Flowers is wearing a pretty hot pink shirt, and I know you all didn't want to wear hot pink.
Right.
Well, but Pastor Scales is upset because he did not get one.
Oh, I gave 3. Elise got 1. Oh, I can't count. I'll bring yours back, Pastor Scales. Love you. God bless you.
Here, and you know what? take mine off because Elise did not get one.
Thank you.
He gave it to me, so I just took mine off and gave it to Elise. I didn't know what was going on. I was starting the show, and he handed it to me, and I put it on.
Oh my goodness, it was really not for him. Oh, he's in trouble. But anyway, let me let you get back to the rest of the show.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, listeners, you're not getting all of this valuable information localized from one source anywhere else. Our doctors, our expert guests, and I diligently research all of the information presented to you each week, and we need to keep this going. Stop by our radiothon today at 3360 East Livingston Avenue, Suite 2A, and show your support with a donation so we can stay on the air and bring forth this really, which is God-guided information to heal your mind, body, and spirit. Now, body image is a motivator that leads many people to the gym, but it also induces a lot of feelings that discourages others who, in turn, avoid the gym. Some people are intimidated by the gym because of all the strange equipment and machines and silent rules, and I've even heard those people get intimidated by looking at the other people at the gym. If you're already uncomfortable with your body, how are you going to feel when you're surrounded by people who work out all the time? Miss Berry, can you tell us, do you ever experience that some people avoid coming to your gym because of their insecurities with body image, and how do you help them overcome this?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the big hurdles that I think men experience it, but I think women, I'm just going to speak from a woman's perspective.
Oh, my God.
Experience it a lot more. But how I help people get over that, I think, number one, be prepared to sweat. That it's not a fashion show here, that we're going to get sweaty. We don't have our makeup on. My hair is wrapped up. And my 2-year-old running around. So I try to make it comfortable, and we try to make it at Hotbox Fitness a real family, encouraging environment, because we are all there to get better. And you may see some people in really good shape, but they may have an injury that they're working on, or they may have an illness that they're working on. That I train all levels of people. I have from young kids, and I got the blessed opportunity to train a couple who was 95 and 93 years old. Probably for a good 8 to 10 years, I trained them, starting when they were about, 85, 83. And they could move, and if you saw them hobbling down the street, you may not think so, but, they took multiple falls. And didn't break any bones, and that I'm really proud of. And again, exercise is supposed to help you live better, live a better quality of life.
And where are you guys located? Can you tell us that, and how we look you up on the internet and all of that information?
We're at www.hotboxfitness.com. We're in North Columbus at 215 Oak Street, at the intersection of Flint and Park Road.
Wonderful. Dr. White, Dr. McKoy, any suggestions about body image and going to the gym?
Go ahead.
Well, one of the things I can say, I have a gym at my dental practice in the back. I also have a pretty nice gym in my basement at home, and I just added, it's coming now in transit, 2 stacks of weight in gym. So my gym I have bicycles in my basement, ab machine, all kinds of stuff and plus I have a couple gym memberships in commercial gyms. The one thing that I wanted to say about body image, if you look on the internet, let's say YouTube, there's a website called Dead Bodybuilders, and they have these beautiful bodies, but many of them are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, but they're dead from the use of steroids, synthol, and other types of artificial drugs that have taken their lives and stuff. One of the things that we have to know about just the health marker for fitness is not just big, bulky, strong muscles, but it's lean and flexibility. Lean muscles and flexibility. The other day I had a fall on my bike, and I thank God I knew how to fall and fall on this bike, and I didn't break any bones or anything.
Wonderful.
But just simple things like that, you have to be strong enough not to have a fracture or break.
And we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on the air. Do you have a question for us this morning?
You know what? I was sitting here. This is Maurice James.
Hi.
Hey.
We are glad that you're tuning into our show this morning.
Absolutely. After I got to meet you the other week, I was like, man, let me start tuning in. Because I know health is huge.
Yes, and this is Reese from Rick and Reese. And when does your show come on here?
It comes on Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
All right, so everybody tune in. It's a great show.
That's a blessing. I appreciate that. And then y'all have my good friend in the station with y'all today, Elise.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. Look, I heard you was condemning me on here. See, I'm not doing like I should. And I'm listening to you this morning. I felt condemned.
Good. Get up off that couch. Come down.
No, it's good though, just to hear what you guys are doing, and I know that I pick your brain periodically when I see y'all at church. But I think I'm ready to surrender my life, and so I'm gonna be reaching out to you guys about that hot bop.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to call in and say that and say hello, and man, I'll be tuning in every week now because this information is so informative and it's needed, definitely.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you tuning in, and we do hope that you continue to tune in every week. And Dr. White, you want to say something?
Right. I think in terms of the when people look at their body image, I think one of the things that we stress all the time is that self-care, self-love, and getting into a meditative state where you love yourself. And that, I think, will kind of get you over that hurdle and not being independent of the good opinion of others. And so you want to be healthy, and if you really, really love yourself and you know that going into the gym, going to the hot box, joining is going to make you feel better, you're going to be healthier, you're going to go ahead and do that. I mean, if you can get into that self-care, I love myself mode, then that's going to probably mean more to you than what others think.
Yeah.
And so I think we always got to remember that self-care is a big thing.
And I think that's really an important thing to point out too. And when we talk about women, we are in general concerned about our appearance, our weight, and our body. And I know that men do too. I think women, we verbalize it a little bit more, but I see a lot of men who are really concerned about these things as well. And these concerns are often ingrained and can contribute to psychological distress, especially in the instance of breast cancer. And we need all of our listeners to know breast cancer is not just a female disease. Men can develop breast cancer just as much. I actually had my grandmother, on my father's side, my grandmother had breast cancer. And then my uncle, her son, had breast cancer. And his cancer started as breast cancer and spread, to other places in his body. So, this is very serious. And, breast cancer is probably one of the most feared diagnosis that anyone can have because of all the despair, the concerns of disfigurement and things like that. And this has physical and psychological impacts. And we are going to talk about this a little bit more after the break. You're listening to Let's Talk About Health on AM 1580 WVK The Praise, the voice of the people. Please join our show with your questions after this break by calling 614-824-2139 or 824-2336.
This is First Lady Jawanda Thomas from The Truth Church, and I want you to tune in every Saturday at 10 a.m. for Let's Talk About Health, because your health is your wealth, with Dr. Amanda Flowers, Dr. Mark White, and Dr. Victor McKoy, the Super Doctors, on AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, the voice of the people.
An Eden mindset is a kingdom mindset.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to Let's Talk About Health on AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, the voice of the people. I'm Dr. Amanda Flowers in the studio today with Dr. Mark White, Dr. Victor McKoy, and Miss Elise Berry, discussing detoxification through exercise, body image, female athletes, and breast cancer. Give us a call with your questions at 614-824-2139 or 824-2336. And we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on the air. Do you have a question for us this morning?
Yes.
And do you have your radio turned on in the background?
No, mine is off. I just cut it off.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Does exercising reduce cancer and ulcers and stuff?
I would say that exercising decreases the probability of you acquiring different type of cancer, because if you're exercising on a regular consistent basis, and you're eating healthy food, and you're getting enough rest, and you're drinking enough water, your immune system is going to be working a lot better. And on a cellular level, it's going to be hard. Your cells are in shape, and the micro cells are in shape, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to mutate into a cancer cell. So I think that indirectly, exercising on a consistent basis, eating the right foods, getting enough rest, and drinking enough water, all of those things, and keeping your stress level down too as well, I think is paramount.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Mark. One of the things you have to consider is how God built the human body also. You have 5 times as many vessels in your immune system, your lymphatic systems, and that require 5 times as many vessels in that system as opposed to your blood system, your hemopoietic system. And so the way the blood system works with the heart pumping is one thing, but in the lymphatic system, you need the compression and the movement of the muscles to move things through that system, which has 5 times as many vessels. And you have to think about, we are like what we call a reactive oxygen system. So you have to move things around. When it comes to longevity, you're going to live longer doing what the gravity system tells you to do. You're going to have to move your limbs, your arms and your legs, and your trunk, and all of these things. You're going to have to move these with some form of, let's say, normal exercise without too much stress, and that will help alleviate some cancers. Because if you have just stuff sitting around from a sedentary lifestyle, these microorganisms like these viruses and bacteria and whatever different types and sorts they have time and ability to check off things within our DNA that will make us more prone to cancers and things.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, caller, for calling in. We do appreciate you and hope you keep tuning in each week. For all of our fans who are listening from the Purple and Pink Walk for Life at the True Church at 1500 Barnett Road, Doctors and Miss Berry, can you tell us what advice do you have for cancer patients who are concerned with body image? And any other concerns having to do with that? I think we were talking about.
You want to take that or what?
Well, you had said you want over the break. You had said you wanted to mention some stuff.
Oh man, dementia.
Do you remember what you wanted to mention?
I mentioned. What was that I mentioned?
I don't. Hold on. We'll think. Miss Berry, did you have something to say?
There's something that exercise does to you spiritually. That when you take that time out to do that for yourself and again for your family, that if you can get out as a family and make it a social event, whether it's taking a walk around the block when it's early in the morning, or being at the fitness walk, the Pink and Purple Fitness Walk, I'm sure the people down there feel great after they completed their walk. There's something that it does to you spiritually that makes it addicting. Like, when you first start exercising, it's like, oh, I have to get out of bed, I have to do this. But then ultimately that becomes your time, and you become a little bit selfish about that time because you need it in order to help you feel better. So to the caller who just called, in other ways, it releases endorphins, that it helps you spiritually as well to move.
Wonderful.
And Dr. Flowers, it came to me.
All right. I think it's selective amnesia.
Right. One of the things I was going to say was more African American women die of breast cancer than any other group of people, group of women. And it's not because their cancer is worse, it's because they wait to get the mammogram. And so I just want to put it out there, get the mammogram early, because while breast cancer can be pretty serious, if caught early, it can be treated and people go on with their lives. And also to do the monthly exam on your breast. Want to just get those two things in there. So that, as it relates to body image, is important if you want to have if you want to live and move on. Dr. Flowers has cut me off.
Well, what I want to make sure that our listeners know, we have received countless testimonies of how our show has changed. Is that music across our I think so. We have the radiothon going on, and I think they've tried to take over our lines. We have countless testimonies of how our show has changed your lives, from encouraging you to get cancer, heart, and diabetes screening, to balancing diet and exercise, to finding peace with mental health and substance abuse treatment, mending broken hearts, and changing the course of parenting. So everyone, please continue as we pour into you to support us by stopping by our radiothon with a donation this morning at 3360 East Livingston Avenue, Suite 2A. Doctors or our guests this morning, do you guys have anything to say as encouraging words for our radiothon?
Yes, I would encourage people again to do your research on a plant strong lifestyle. That those pages are very positive and encouraging. I've had my not my personal experience with cancer, but those around me have suffered cancer, all the way up to a stage 4 cancer, and I've seen it turn around, and even at the worst levels, that there's still hope and that you are able to live a cancer-free life.
Wonderful. And Dr. White and Dr. McKoy, any reasons our people should stop by our radiothon and give us a donation this morning?
I think we need to be proactive. I think we need to get out and be responsible for our community. Stop by. This is a good means of information. Every week we're coming here and we're giving people ways of having a better quality of life. And come on by, support. And you can't always just take. It's, in life you have to give. And that's how it's give and receive and give and receive. So come on by and donate.
Wonderful. Well, when it comes to athletes, physical and mental health are two sides of the same coin. When a physical problem occurs, athletes often have a psychological or emotional consequence. And when a psychological problem exists, it can lead to physical consequences affecting athletic performance. When looking at all the different things that college students go through, they juggle academics while facing the difficult task of dealing with anxiety, performance, relationship, depression, pressure from peers, family, coaches, and professors, all on a daily basis. And for some, this can become overwhelming. And right now, I want to give a shout out to one. Everyone knows I'm from around Athens. So at Ohio University, we just had Maurice Nador, who was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks just on, was it yesterday or the day before? They signed him onto their team. So we do want to give him a congratulations, because I know that he worked really hard. He actually is from Senegal and worked very hard and is very happy to continue this legacy in honor of his family and to help take care of people back home. So we are very proud of you, Maurice.
Dr. Fox is a sports buff.
Quietly. Well, we everyone in here today, with the exception of myself, I listen to them, but I don't participate in many sports. But doctors and Miss Berry, all of you guys have been involved with some athletic and active types of things. Can you tell us what health and mental health challenges have you seen in whether female or male athletes encounter, and what words of encouragement do we have for them to overcome these different obstacles that kind of can hold them back?
I know that God allowed me to play sports, and sports has given me a lot in my life, and I think it's very important for young children to play sports and be active and enjoy it. If you have a coach that isn't encouraging your child, then, find another team. But it should be a positive, reinforcing atmosphere that gives kids, and especially young girls, something that rewards themselves other than the body image, the physical beauty, that you have intrinsic rewards that, you become good at. You practice every day, you get good every day. And some of the challenges, I know that I've had my setbacks. I think girls especially wrap their sports up in their social life as well. So when you're injured or something keeps you out of that sport, it is depressing. It is, you really kind of have lost a part of yourself. And so how you may overcome those things are just doing the little things that, I had to learn to basically walk all over again. I had an ACL injury going into my college career. 2 weeks before I was supposed to report to preseason, I got injured to the point where, you're going to redshirt this year. And that was devastating. I had dreamed my whole life to play a college sport. And so how do you handle that? Well, that was one of the toughest years of my entire life, to be away from home, to not be able to do what I've always done. And I had a close relationship with God. I think He helped me through many of those dark days where, my mom couldn't come and get me, or, there wasn't anyone around to help me. God was there. And I did end up coming back and starting every game of my college career. And that's very hard to do. And I didn't set out to make that goal, but I did the little things day in and day out, the ice baths, the extra things that my trainers, helped me to do to get back on the field. And one other thing about athletics, that it's not just about the athlete. It's not just about the person on the field. It takes a whole team of doctors, of trainers, of coaches to make that happen. I think that's important to stress to kids, that you don't have to necessarily be the athlete, that you can be the trainer that helps them be on the field, and you're still within the culture of sports.
And Dr. McKoy, did you have words of encouragement for our athletes?
One of the things that I always want to say, sugar is a toxic substance, and when someone is sick or going through something, one of the best ways to heal, you've heard me say this over time and time again, is that go raw as you can, as long as you can in your diet when you want to heal.
Yes. Well, if there's one thing we should all know about breast cancer by now, it's that it does not discriminate. Even when healthy athletes or former athletes, they are not immune from breast cancer, as it affects 1 in 8 women in the United States. Remarkably, though, several female athletes have continued to compete in their sport after a breast cancer diagnosis, and some even managed to play as they battled their illness. So these women serve as an inspiration to many others who are facing this. And so as we remember our listeners at the Purple and Pink Walk for Life at the True Church this morning on 1500 Barnett Road, we just want to mention some of these female athletes who have overcome breast cancer and continue to participate in the sports. We have Karen Newman, who's a world-class triathlete, and once she was diagnosed, she underwent chemotherapy, 4 surgeries and radiation, but she continued and raced in the world championship in the middle of her chemotherapy. So we do know that you can keep moving. We have Noveline Williams-Mills, who is an Olympic medalist. She is a Jamaican track and field athlete, and she was diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer just days before competing in the 2012 London Olympic Games. She came in 5th in the individual 400-meter event that year. We have Martina, I'm probably going to mess this up, Navratilova, who's a tennis... you say it. Can you say it right, Dr. McKoy?
Navratilova.
Okay, yeah, I had it nowhere close to that. And during her tennis career, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she is now cancer-free and continues to play regularly and compete in triathlons. We have Edna Campbell, who was the first WNBA player to be diagnosed with breast cancer, and despite her diagnosis, she continued to play with the Sacramento Monarchs. And then we have Heather Farr, who's a professional golfer, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer while young and healthy, and at the peak of her golfing career. Despite that, she continued to play golf while she was battling the disease. So as we see, there are still a lot of things that we can do. Doctors, Miss Berry, we are getting ready to get cut off. Any quick last encouraging words for our people at Purple and Pink for being athletes and fighting breast cancer?
I think that one thing I want to mention that we didn't mention was that fiber is a natural stimulant of our GI system and can move things out. So we want to make sure that you get enough fiber on a daily basis.
Wonderful.
To piggyback that, me and Scott often talk about our bathroom breaks and how our colon is moving our lives every day. So it is important, fiber is important, and also eating to live, eat raw again when you can. As an athlete, I had to learn to eat properly, that not necessarily a high protein diet, but a high diet of nutrients and the quality of ingredients.
And also alpha lipoic acid and the omega-3 family of fats.
Wonderful. Well, we do thank everyone for listening to Let's Talk About Health on AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, the voice of the people. Don't forget, stop by our studio today. We have our radiothon. We're at 3360 East Livingston Avenue, Suite 2A. And show your support by giving us a donation. Tune in next week as the doctors talk with Policy Director Michael Daniels about the Franklin County Justice System. And don't forget to visit our website at 1580thepraise.com/Let's Talk About Health, where our shows are now being archived. And remember to like us on Facebook page at Let's Talk About Health, AM 1580 WVKO The Praise. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Let's talk about health.
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Health, where your health is your wealth, with the super doctors, Dr. Amanda Flowers, Dr. Mark White, and Dr. Victor McKoy. Join us every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on AM 1580 WVKO The Praise, where we are the voice of the people.